Party with your host, Dustin Rybka.
Hello and welcome to Sex Party. I'm your host, Dustin Rybka. This week on the show, we've got something special. We have a sex party first. We have our first male solo guest on the show. That guest is Nade Nasty. He is a male porn star. We're going to talk about all the things you think we're going to talk about and then some. This episode is awesome. Nade is such a fucking cool guy. We're going to talk about what it really takes to be successful as a male in the porn industry. Is coming on command a highly stressful thing? Dating life. Is Nade dating? Is he dating within the industry, outside the industry? What is that like? Penis implants, some of the many women he's worked with. He's done over 650 scenes. He just won Best Male Performer recently. He shows us the award. He tells us what's coming up next. And at the end of the episode, I ask him what he's learned about women through his 8 years in porn. Listen, guys, this is an awesome episode. So without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with Nade Nasty.
This week's conversation.
Nade Nasty, welcome to Sex Party. I gotta say, you're the first male guest that I've had one-on-one interview. We've had a couple on the show, never just a guy. So it's a sex party first, but how are you doing? Congratulations on winning the Sex Party First award. I just made that up.
Sweet. I'm honored to win the award. Thank you very much. I want to thank all my fans and friends and co-stars, my publicist, Rybka, my agent, Riley.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain, staying busy.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so for the people who are like, okay, what does this asshole have up his sleeve for us this week? He's got a guy here named Nade Nasty, right? Could you talk a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do? Because I think that'll be, fun and revealing, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, of course. My name's Nade Nasty. I am a porn star. It's pretty cool. Not much to complain about. I travel from city to city and get paid to have sex with beautiful women. And it's usually really fun. I shoot for a bunch of companies. I've shot for most of the companies I used to always want to work for. Like Penthouse, Hustler, Brazzers, Bang Bros, Mile High, Johnny Darko, and so on. Hookup Hotshot is a site that I shoot for the most. I'm kind of it's Brian Gosling's site. He started it, but he's kind of I've been his protege lately. So that's a site that I've been very busy with. I shoot a lot of my own stuff as well that I produce. I'll be launching hopefully my own studio soon. But right now I just shoot a lot of my own content for X Videos, OnlyFans, ManyVids, Sheer, all those sites. This is my little part of my little set here.
Nice.
We got the cage to put all the beautiful obedient girls in. We got the couch, and then we got the bed over there.
Nice.
So it's a pretty sweet gig. Can't complain. I enjoy my job a lot. It's not all sunshine and daisies. There's editing and promotion and all sorts of things, a lot of travel, a lot of time driving on airplanes, but yeah, definitely not complaining. Definitely the best gig I've ever had. I've been doing it for 7 years now, 4 years, a little over 4 years full time. And I just started winning my first awards and stuff finally. Wow. So it's been great.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get to that because Erica has provided, as always, and shout out to Erica. I'm looking in the camera. I'm saying shout out to Erica because she's the best in the business. She always, hooks the smart, intelligent, awesome guests up with myself. So I can be kind of the podcast idiot and you guys can tell your stories and we can go on this adventure together. I think, 7 years in the porn industry, right? Okay.
Almost 8 now, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So we're pushing a decade. We're not quite there yet, but close enough, right?
Oh yeah.
At what point, like, did you decide, okay, I want to do, because it would be enough, right, for you just to act and perform in these films, but then you're like, I kind of want to do my own production. I kind of want to do my own thing. Where did that come from? Like, at what year were you like, you know what?
Well, I shot my first scene for a small studio in New York City. I'm from New Jersey. When I was 19, for a while there, I was just shooting for smaller companies in the East Coast, and I made a Twitter and stuff, and then I signed to my agency after a few years when I went to Miami the first time, and I started getting a lot of bookings and starting to talk to more people in the industry and stuff. I was quick to realize that content and owning your own product is really one of the most important things, because you don't want to have to rely on anyone else for your income, and it's good to, the bookings that I get, they're a good, quick buck. They're good promotion, good way to network. But the scenes I produce are residual income. I could take off and still be getting paid. I have a lot of backlog, so I could even just not shoot for a while if I want to and still have stuff to release. So but from a financial standpoint, there's that. It's just probably the best way to go in the adult industry. If you have to choose between making your own stuff and shooting for big companies, I would say shooting your own stuff is more important. Some people might not think that because, the big show is like the mainstream stuff, but that's really just a quick buck and a good way to promote yourself. And don't get me wrong, though. I've met some of my favorite co-stars on pro sets, and I've learned a lot from directors that I've always looked up to on pro sets, like Johnny Darko from Evil Angel, Brian Gosling from Hooked Up Hotshot, Owen Gray, he owns Deep Blush. The girl I went to prom with was like obsessed with him. So it's funny that like he's my buddy now.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from some of the greats, and I try to implement it in my work.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fucking awesome. I mean, and the home set, the home studio set you just showed was awesome too. I'm impressed, right? And listen, if you're listening to this on the audio side, do not run over to YouTube. Finish this on the audio side, then go over to YouTube and check it out. But I would imagine, was there a creative component too, where you're like, you know what, I kind of want to do it this way, or I kind of want these colors, or this sort of vibe, or?
Absolutely. So, so from the business standpoint, the last thing I said was an important thing, but also just from the creative side of things, it's way more fun and fulfilling to create something that you enjoy making, and it's something that like you would watch as a fan and that you could be proud of and say, I made that and I own it. It's just a lot more fulfilling.
Right.
It's nice being able to, choose your co-stars. Not that, 99.9% of the time I'm happy with my co-stars on the pro sets too, but it's nice being able to choose your co-stars, discuss for content trade, discuss like what you and your partner want to shoot and choose something you both enjoy. And then eventually I hope to, like I said, own my own studio and book my co-stars to create stuff that I own the full rights to as well.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, at least for me, it would be good to play a little Tarantino. You can kind of direct your own shit and use your own imagination and like maybe do stuff differently and see what you like to do or whatever. Because I think that's a piece that we never really talk about a lot with adult or like with OnlyFans even, is the creativity piece of it, right? Like you just showed that set, which is like cool pink colors. You had a pink fucking cage and all these things. And it's like that, people are visual people. And it's like, I feel like a lot of the women, at least that I've seen on OnlyFans who are successful, they do have like an aesthetic that they shoot in or around or whatever. Whereas, sometimes you'll see a girl on OnlyFans and like, she throws a sheet up in the basement and goes to town or whatever. And that's cool too. But when you have the ability to control it and you've got some money to pour into it, I think the creative side. You know, that's something we don't talk about enough.
Absolutely. And I think it is important for a female creator, but I think it's even more important as a male creator, because as a male creator, to most of the people watching, you're kind of just a prop. You know, they're watching for the woman in the scene and how you showcase her and what she does. So, for a female talent, you know, they kind of, if you have a fan, they kind of are down to see what you're doing wherever you're doing it. As a guy, I feel like I'm showcasing a specific type of shoot that my fans like to watch with the women in it. Honestly, it doesn't even matter if I'm the guy in it. It could be a different guy doing the same thing. And, you know, so like when I think of some of the most successful male creators off the top of my head, like male porn stars, like Mike Adriano, and then some of the people I named, like Brian Gosling from Hook Up Hot Shot and Owen Gray, they have an aesthetic that there could be no one on the screen at all. And if you see the thumbnail of their set, you know exactly what kind of scene it's going to be. Mm-hmm. You know who produced it, you know? So that was for a long time when I've been producing my own stuff, I've just had like my normal bedroom, or if I'm traveling, which I still shoot a lot of my stuff on the road, in hotels and Airbnbs and stuff. Right. But now when I shoot in Las Vegas, at least I have like an aesthetic that's recognizable. I feel like I've started to drop some scenes here, and the girls I've shot with started to drop some scenes. And I think like it won't take long before people recognize that as Nade's set. Right. Even if they don't see anybody on it, you know, and that's, I think that's an important thing as a male creator. Cause when you're scrolling through like the hub and stuff, like I used to watch a lot of Adriano's stuff. Like I said, I brought him up a couple times, you know, half the time I'm not even reading the stuff. I'm just looking at the thumbnails. And if I see like his set, I'm gonna stop and see like who's in it. You know, I'm just because I recognize, I'm like, he always makes fire stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like, well, you know, with like the Vixen stuff and that whole, they have their own aesthetic where it's like, it just feels, or even if it's not the same set, it feels or it looks a certain way. And it's almost like, you know, how Apple does it, right? So it's like the aesthetics of like, it's like a calling card. You know, it's going to be a certain kind of quality when you see the colors and the stuff that you got going on in your set, and people know you're going to bring what it is you bring to it just by seeing that. So I think not only is it smart from like a branding side of it, but it also probably gives you a little charge to be able to be creative in that shit. And maybe you'll have a couple more sets on or whatever, where everyone will know, okay, you know, cause you're right. Like you scroll by a kink.com fucking video, you know exactly what you're going to get. Right. And same with Vixen, same with everything you said. So smart branding strategy. And
I just had a great scene with Kink drop last week.
Oh,
with
really?
The beautiful Avery Black. Go check it out.
Okay. So tell me, you know, in this conversation, we're just going to go where it goes. The viewers know what to expect. The listeners know what to expect. And I think it's great if you just shot a scene for kink.com, because what is it like to actually shoot? Because we've heard a lot of stories. There's been a lot of people on this podcast that have done stuff for kink.com. They've all had great experiences, pretty intense experiences. So as a man, right, what is it like to shoot for something that's really that sort of intense?
Okay, so I've done a few scenes for them. A few were I don't remember if they were public disgrace or if they were if they were under a different one, but it was you know, we like kidnapped the girl and like gangbanged her in the pig pen and had her all chained up and stuff. For me as a dude, I mean, I love it if the girl's into it. Like I get off on the fact that like this girl just wants to be used and treated like a whore and just be used to milk dicks, basically. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I think that's hot as fuck. If that's what, but I think it's hot because the girl wants that. Like the fact that that's what the girl wants is the hot part, you know? So, When it comes to any rough scenes like that, you know, because I do a lot of rough stuff for my content too, maybe not necessarily kink level, but any sort of hardcore scenes, you know, it's important to, you know, make sure you're doing it with a co-star that is comfortable with all those things, obviously. And you gotta make sure to check in whenever you get the chance, you know, and make sure there's nothing that your partner, your co-star wants you to do more or less of, because it's a very overwhelming experience for them. You know, you can't always expect them to be able to, you know, it's a hard situation to be in. So you have to make sure you're very, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, it's very aware of your co-star right. and their verbal and nonverbal cues. I just shot a scene the first time I shot for their, the site where the girls are suspended with the ropes.
Oh yeah. And, like Shibari or something type scene.
Yeah. And it was sick. That was the one that was just released with the beautiful Avery Black. She thought it was super hot. She was squirting everywhere because she was just, you know, she was happy to just be being used, and because that's what she's into. And plus, John Paul the Pope, the one who does all the rope work there, is probably one of the best rope artists, if that's the word for it, in the world. Yeah, in the world, he's great. So it was a great thing, and I was super excited. It was just sick to have a super hot girl just like served up on a platter for me to use like that. Like when they were tying her up, I was literally thinking to myself, wow, this girl is just getting tied up for me to just use right now. Like they're serving up a slut on a platter for me. It was amazing. And we both had a great time.
No, I mean, and those scenes, again, kink.com is like no joke, right? But even like you said, you kind of, your thing is kind of like the more aggressive. Even in the notes, it's like, it says like sexual prowess and powerful, and people go to you because they want more of a rough experience. And I think, yeah, you know, I mean, I would imagine.
I like to think I'm a very versatile performer. I shoot sensual scenes too and slower stuff too, but kind of what I've become known for, my niche is more hardcore stuff and some kinky things and stuff. So I a lot of the time that's what I'm approached to do by companies and by the girls that I'm shooting content trade with. I'm like, hey, what kind of scene do you want to shoot today? Something sensual or more hardcore? And they're like, most of the stuff I see you shoot is hardcore and I like it, so let's do that, you know. So that's kind of it's become my niche. I'm a versatile performer.
Sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt. To interrupt you. Sorry.
No. Listen. They don't want to hear my voice. They want to hear from you. So anything you want to add to the conversation. This is your episode. This is why we're here. And I think we have an opportunity to talk to a male porn star about what it's really like and shit. So yeah, like they don't want it. They've already heard from me. We're in the 130s somewhere when this airs, and so they're like, shut the fuck up and ask the questions, but guy. Okay, and that being said, I mean, I would imagine, just like you said, that the women are coming to you asking for more hardcore, because I feel like sex in general, and I'm not everybody, and I am generalizing, but for the most part, that's the kind of sex that women, get off on more, and like, of course, like there's a conversation takes place before and during and checking in, and all the consent stuff is massively crucial. But I mean, you've been in it 8 years almost, right? So are you seeing a rise in more women in the industry, opting for more of the hardcore stuff versus like the sensual stuff?
Since I've started,
or has it always been that
way? I think it's always been that way. Maybe there's been a slight increase in girls doing more hardcore stuff. More, I think, like, not necessarily hardcore stuff, but some of the kinky things have become more common. Like, there's a lot of girls that like licking feet now. There's a lot of girls that love to eat ass. There's a lot of girls that love to get pissed on. I feel like that type of stuff has increased a little bit. Not necessarily like the hardcore, like choking, slapping, like throwing around. I feel like that's always been the same, but I think the extracurriculars have increased a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, even there's like, even Instagram content that's like playful around it. Oh, I'm being pissed on, but it's like not real and whatever. Like that's risen a ton. And even in the couple of years I've done this show, man, I mean, it seems like that's risen a lot. Like piss content, like fucking.
I've pissed on hundreds of women.
Yeah,
probably a little over 100. A lot of them for hook a pot shot because that's they pay the girls a lot to do that, and then a lot of them just for content because the girls want to do it.
Yeah,
so
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just saw a piece of content where Adriana Chechik was like talking shit to somebody, and she's like, listen, just take the piss. If you've drank a beer, that's what it tastes like. Just fuck off. Just take the fucking piss. So you gotta love that. It's funny.
Chechik, one of my all-time favorites. I just recently did a thing for it was like a 20 versus 1 like competition, like almost like a dating vibe, but like she was choosing like who gets to fuck her, and I won.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be doing a scene with her soon.
Okay.
Like in the next month and a half or so, and she's been one of my all-time favorites. I've never worked with her. I've met her, but she's always very sweet. So I'm excited to work with her finally.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a fucking legend.
Another one of my favorites, Kira New York. 3 days ago, just did a gangbang for that. You know what? I don't think I'm supposed to talk about that yet, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything else.
We'll pause it there. We don't want to get anybody in trouble. Let's jump back to the Adriana Chechik piece. Okay, so you've never worked with her. I mean, and clearly we all know what she's capable of, right? You know what you're capable of. People who are listening to this, your fans know what you're capable of. I mean, first of all, what a match, which is great. It's awesome. You guys, both of your energy. Are you nervous? Do you have nerves at this point in the game? I mean, it's Adriana Chechik.
A little bit, but I'm pretty confident in my work. I get a little starstruck, but I think I also want to, I also use that toward my advantage. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're doing what you always wanted to do,
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I think that's fucking great. And do we know what the scene is yet? Or you guys haven't talked about what?
I'm not going to talk any more details on this one either because I don't know if it's
okay.
I'm supposed to.
Listen, for those of you in the audience, I've taken it as far as it's going to go on this topic. So you at least get that. It's coming.
Just stay tuned.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Okay. So I think everybody, including the women in the audience, they want to know, like, let's answer some basic questions. I know you probably answered these a fucking ton, but we've got some stuff to work with now. We're well into the episode, and I think it'll be more fun to answer these versus answering these or me even asking these in the beginning, right? We're going to get to your origin story. I know you're probably fucking tired of telling it, but I think it's worth it, right? Because it's your first, it's your first time on Sex Party. But before we get to that, I mean, you hear dudes like, I could do porn. I could fucking blah, 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 blah. So what I want to ask is from you, someone who's a G, who's been doing it for as long as you have, you're doing your own thing, you're making your own content, you're killing it, right? You've got fans, everybody loves you, you're nominated for all these awards. You just won a fucking huge award, which we'll talk about in a second. But congratulations, and well deserved. But what does it take for a dude to do porn realistically?
Well, firstly, I guess we'll start with the obvious. You got to be able to keep your dick hard, and not just, under normal circumstances, there's a lot of people around, there's pressure on you. If you aren't able to do it, a lot of the time you have to pay a kill fee instead of getting paid.
So what's a kill fee? Let me stop you there. What's that mean?
Like if you mess up a scene, the director and the company still needed to book the location. The girl might have already sucked your dick a little bit and it didn't work, so she still needs to get paid. There's someone needs to pay. Someone needs to pay, and it's usually the dude. That's just how it works.
So you're saying if you come early, then you have to pay a fee?
If you come early, they'll probably let you sit around a little bit and see if you could do it again. But if not, then yeah.
Okay. And if you can't come, then you're paying a fee.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unless if the director is really chill and they're like, we could try to find out we could fake it, like, you know, pretend you nutted in her and then we'll put something in her or something. You know what I mean?
Right,
But you know, most directors aren't that. Nah, a lot of directors are chill, but not all of them. So yeah, there's that. That's something you gotta remember.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you could perform, you know, you need to be able to take care of your body and make sure you know, have a good routine, because it's not just like fucking, it's like, it's a workout. It's, you know, the positions they put us in, some of them aren't comfortable at all. You know, sometimes you're not booked with someone you're attracted to, or they could have like a hygiene issue. You still got to do the scene if you were booked for it and you accepted it. A lot of the positions aren't really that enjoyable because like you're all twisted, like you know.
Yeah.
So there's that. The most important things I think for a male talent, besides being a good performer, are, you know, respecting your co-stars and you know, keeping your humility.
Yeah. Nobody wants a fucking big ego on set. That's for sure. Yeah.
I think so I started when I was 19, like I said, and it took me a while to get where I am. I'm 27 now. You know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I broke into mainstream earlier. I wish I like got, you know, whatever earlier sooner so I could be a little even further in my career by now. Because some people join and they blow up kind of overnight. But a lot of those people don't last long because they end up either getting canceled for doing something dumb, or they just, I don't know. I think it's been good for me that it took me a while to get where I am, because you know, I am humble, and also, you know, you build connections along the way. So
yeah. No, I mean, that's what a fucking great piece of advice to anybody listening who might want to try to, you know, we'll come back to that question too, because I want you to give everybody some advice towards the end of the episode, because that's usually how we end these things. But a couple things I want to dive into that you said. Okay, the hygiene issue, right? So you show up on set, and no, I'm not going to ask you for any names, obviously, but like you show up on set.
I wouldn't tell you.
Well, some people might be able to connect the dots if they're really good. I don't know. Who knows? But so you show up on set and you meet your co-star perhaps for the first time, right? Or co-stars. And her asshole or pussy smells, right? So at that point, do you say anything to anyone? Do you just kind of suck it up and just go for it, or what?
So it depends on a few different things, I guess. Sure. I like to preface it by saying a lot of the times when a girl isn't smelling her best, it's not her fault. Sure. You know, girls have pH issues. I know a lot of the time, I'd say the majority of the time, when that's a thing on set, it's a newer girl who just doesn't really have a regimen to keep up her pH balance with all the sex she's having with different men now. So I just want to preface it by saying that, of course, you know,
yeah.
But what I would do, so it depends. If I know the girl personally, I'd be like, hey, you know, she's like my friend. I'd be like, hey, like, what's going on? If I don't, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want them to feel bad about it. I'm not going to say anything to them, honestly. I'm going to act like everything's cool, even if it's giving me problems or something. Because I'd much rather work with someone I'm not attracted to physically than someone whose hygiene isn't the best, you know? So, because I'm a performer, I could work with people I'm not attracted to. I might not like their personality or something. Mm-hmm. Most 99% of the time, my co-stars I'm very attracted to physically, and I like their personality. But in situations, like I've worked with women in their 80s, you know what I mean? I can still do it.
Yeah.
But yes, but if they're having a smelly day, I would tell them if I know them. I wouldn't say anything at all if I don't know them and I don't know the director. I'd probably just try to power through it. If it's like my first time working for a director, I don't want to seem like that guy. Mm-hmm. But if I know the director well, which most of the time when I'm shooting is for directors I've shot for many a times, you know, I might like when we cut, I might like pull them to the side and be like, hey, could we like not do any more pussy eating. Just let me like,
right.
And then if the director, I would never have the balls to say this, but if the director notices the girl smelling, I've been in situations before where the director's like, hey, could you go like clean out, like douche a little bit more, So, but I try to, do my best. I don't think I've ever let a girl know she wasn't smelling good directly or indirectly, because I think I would have more trouble performing knowing I made a girl feel self-conscious.
Yeah.
Than just powering through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and this is the thing is that I don't think many dudes get, right? Is that you can be a fucking beastmaster in the bedroom, right? You can like, whether it's porn, whether it's real life, you can fuck them like you hate them, whatever. But at the same time, you can also be a fucking gentleman. And that goes to your point of not making someone feel like trash because perhaps their pH is a little off, or, they had a sweaty fucking gym run or whatever the fucking they didn't, whatever. And so I think that's a huge point, because you come across as a performer, and obviously, talking with Erica about you beforehand, like, all the things and all the little interviews that I watched, in preparation for this, like you come across as somebody who's super chill, who's super nice, who's super down to earth, but who also like, can perform at the maximum level in porn. And I think that is something that a lot of people just, a lot of men, I would say more so than women in the general consensus, they're like, well, you have to be one or the other. You can't be a gentleman and then still, and it's like, it's not so wrong. It's not the right mindset,
No.
Yeah.
You could definitely be a gentleman and get laid for a living.
Yeah.
I think the dudes in the industry that are gentlemen are the ones that end up lasting the longest and being the most successful, because people want to work with them,
Yeah, for sure.
And people refer you to other people, though, so.
Yeah, I mean, and you make people feel comfortable. From everything that I've read and seen, like you make women feel really comfortable with you, and I think that is something that's, I mean, it doesn't get better than that,
That's the most important thing. I mean, I don't do it for myself, but I genuinely could say, if I feel like my co-star is uncomfortable, I'm not gonna be able to perform. Right. I've been on set for companies before where like I could tell the girl was saying yes to stuff she didn't want to do because like she wanted to get the money for it, and it's just like it's definitely not easy. So I definitely enjoy my work the most when my co-stars are comfortable, and I don't. If I ask a girl her like yes and no list, and she's even like, she goes like, yeah, I guess we could do that. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. Cause like, I only want my co-stars to do things that they are excited to do with me, not just like, yeah, I will do it. I want them to want to do it,
Yeah, because you don't want. I mean, that's totally like there can't even be like a shadow of a doubt question, like whatever, because it's just it more than likely I'm assuming at this point, because this is how I would be, but it would affect how you would then want to perform. It's like no, we're not even going down an alley that's not an alley. Jesus, we're not even going down a road that maybe there's a question about. I think that's super smart. And again, it goes back to what you said originally, what's hotter than a woman who wants to be in like some bound and gagged gangbang, piss on me kind of thing. There's something so much more exciting about a woman who wants to be there versus someone who you're not quite sure if they do or not. And, that's where the attraction comes from. So I love that you said that. And we've come around to that point again, because that's like super, super important. Another question that I know is on everyone's mind. And for you, you've been doing this for, again, we're getting towards a decade. So how difficult is it and or was it starting out? How difficult is it to be able to come on command? Is that something you could always do? Is it something you had to learn? You've gotten better at it. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean, tell us about that.
Well, I think it's something I've always been able. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think most dudes can make themselves come within a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Like if you're jerking your own dick, you know how to do it.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know, maybe 3 to 5, but yeah.
Yeah, like, well, it's funny because when I like used to just jerk off before I got laid, I would nut fast from jerking off, and I'd be like, dude, I'd never be able to fuck girls like this. But when you're fucking, at least for me, I don't know, I'm focused more on a bunch of different things and just making myself come, so I don't just come like that. But what was the question?
Well, I mean, when you're on a set. Coming on command is a thing. Like it's like, okay, now it's time,
So, I think it's always been something I've been able to do. Some days it'll take longer than others. Like sometimes it might take me like 5 minutes because like it'll be like hot or something. I already shot that morning. It's my second one of the day or something, So, sometimes it takes a little longer than usual, but I've never not been able to come on a set. I've probably done like 650 scenes, and I've messed up like close to 10 of them probably, where I was having rough days with my wood for a multitude of reasons, emotional stuff at home, hygiene, but I could always make myself nut. Even if can't keep my dick hard, I could always make myself nut.
Right.
So that's always been good for me. I usually just, if they want me to do it in a certain position, a lot of the time I could get myself to come from the sex in doggy or riding or blowjob if it's good. But if not, I could always, jerk myself until I'm really close and then like do like the last like 10 strokes in the girl, and they just like film it so it looks, cohesive.
Right.
I kind of know I don't think not all dudes are like this, because I know dudes that like nut early in their scenes a lot. I've never nutted early in a scene, not because I don't ever feel like I'm going to nut early, because sometimes the girl's going crazy, because I have like a long climax. I know I'm going to nut for like a minute. So I could be like, oh, I'm about to come if the girl keeps doing this for another minute, and still let her do it for like 30 seconds. And then be like, all right, you got to chill,
Yeah.
or I could just change the position or something usually.
Yeah.
So, it's, I've never really had a problem with the cum shot, because whether they want me to, because if I can't do it naturally, they usually never have a problem with you setting it up, just like jerking off and then them hitting play when you're close,
Yeah, no, for sure. I just think that a lot of people talk about, like, on a lot of different shows, podcasts, like whatever, it's like, well, if a guy wants to be in porn, it's like, one, he's got to have the stamina to be able to fuck that for that long, and then two, he has to be able to come on command. And so I had to tackle that because
you need to be able to come within like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they give you a window, and that's your window, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you take longer than that, they'll probably, they'll pay you, it'll be fine. But maybe they'll even book you again because you did the rest of the scene fine. But if every time you're taking super long to come, and making everyone's day take longer, they're eventually going to find someone that could just do it.
Right.
Yeah,
I've heard, we've had a couple of people on the show that they've actually had to like replace guys. Like they have to call someone and be like, hey, are you available like now or whatever, like to come in and replace somebody because somebody can't come. So
yeah, no, I've been a replacement for people before.
Oh, okay.
It's
so yeah,
I think
it's you getting that call.
And I think, and you know what? I've gotten more of those calls than being on the other side of it, but I think almost any dude in industry is lying to you if they say they've never failed the scene.
Yeah.
Every dude has failed the scene.
Totally.
Especially if you don't use the needle.
Okay, let's explain what you're talking about, because I know what you're talking about. They probably don't, but
They're probably like
heroin.
Nope.
Oh my god, they're shooting heroin.
No, yeah, in our penises. No, no. There's a lot of dudes, and I have no knock against it. I mean, I don't want to do it because it's not the best for your penis. I hear. I wouldn't if I'm in my 50s or something and I needed to perform, then I'll do it. But a lot of dudes use something called a Trimex. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. And it's just like an injectable into your penis and then makes you a rock. And to get it down, you got to like shoot it up with the antivirus after. So it's pretty scary to me. I have some friends that use it, you know, like I said, no knock to you if you use it, you know, it's you got to do your job, you know, somehow. But I think it's definitely something people should only use as a last resort. I typically just use a little bit of Viagra for my bookings if I feel it's necessary, like for sites that I'm going to be on set for like 8 hours with my dick hard on and off, or if it's like a scene with someone I know I'm not attracted to, or I don't have good chemistry with. If I'm shooting for a site like Hookup Hotshot or for my own content where I kind of control what is happening in the scene, then I tend to not take anything. Yeah. But that's definitely a thing in the industry as well. What the stuff they have us do isn't necessarily natural, so a lot of the time you need something to help you. Yeah, and a lot of people for sure use that. Some people have a pump in their balls too. You squeeze you press like a button under your nuts, and it fills your dick up, and then you press it again after. I heard some dudes. I'm not gonna say no names. I don't even know if this is true. This is just what I heard. I heard some dudes got like cheap ones in South America and then their pump stops working. They got to get it fixed all the time. And some dudes got like expensive ones in Europe and they last like 20 years. So if you're doing anything to your body in general, you should probably always go with the not cheap option.
Yeah. Going to, somewhere that shady with some shady doctor to get a pump put in. We're not talking about penis pump. We're talking about an actual like a tube basically that goes in your penis and it's pumped up by a button underneath your balls. I mean, I've seen these dudes use it, man. Like if I'm like 60 and I start having dick problems, I'll get a pump. Like that shit looks like simple as hell. Just I'll do it, but I'm not trying to do anything drastic like that for at least 20 years. You know what I mean? So I try to stay as natural as possible. I take a lot of zinc and D3 and ashwagandha and a lot of supplements and stuff to keep my dick hard and my balls full. No, yeah, exactly. And I mean, nobody really wants to. I can't imagine somebody is just like, I just go and have my balls cut open and have a fucking balloon pump put in. Like that's not something I don't think nobody really would want to do that. But so you've been on sets and you've seen a guy reach in between his nuts and start pushing a button, pushing a button, and the dick just fucking inflates. Okay.
I see it.
Okay. The needle thing to me is I get it. It's wild, but to shoot something directly into your cock and then have to shoot something directly into it afterwards to bring it down. I mean, I'm diabetic and I use needles, probably not that as big as that, but like that seems a little, I mean, why wouldn't people just pop? Because I think people already assume if I'm a dude and I'm in porn, I'm going to pop a Blue Chew, a Viagra or whatever, just for the, just for the anxiety level of like, oh, I'm good, I'll be able to get hard or whatever.
No, that's what a lot of the time I'd be thinking that too. Like even if it was a sugar pill, wouldn't make a difference. But I'm like, I think like, oh, I took this stuff. Yeah. It's going to be easy. Yeah,
exactly. Because I feel like sex, even in the civilian realm is a psychological thing more than it's a physical thing. Cause it's kind of like, as it could like controls the physical, like the mental could always controls the physical. So I think people probably assume like, Viagra, sure. But like a fucking needle and a pump. I mean, because I've heard of those implants and when we've talked about them briefly on the show, but never to an extent. The fact that you've been on set and actually seen them and then they're breaking down because they're from somewhere cheap. That's wild. Because customer service for that is definitely rough.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're on hold for a long, long time. Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask, just in terms of getting sort of an idea of what it's like, and you mentioned it earlier, but like, what is your health routine? I mean, you mentioned you're taking vitamins. I mean, you're hitting the gym every morning. I mean, what your diet, like what's important to, I mean, you are an athlete, whether you want to, admit it or not, but this, porn stars are athletes. And so how do you take care of your body? What's your routine look like?
So until very recently, I wasn't doing much. I was just living my normal life. I am not like, I exercise a little bit with my friends. I play basketball. I go on hikes and stuff. I try not to eat too unhealthy. But just like the last maybe 6 months or so, I have noticed a difference in my performance, I feel like, and just like how I feel physically. I've been trying to eat even healthier. I got on like a good meal plans called Tovala. No, it's not sponsoring this podcast, but they're pretty good. They send like fresh food and stuff that you cook. I drink smoothies every morning. I put the protein in it. I put some collagen in it because I gotta stay good looking. I take a lot of supplements every morning before bed. In the morning, I have a bunch of gummy ones. I take normal vitamins. I take ashwagandha. I take beetroot, which is good for your heart, which is important to take care of in this industry, obviously, as well. A lot of exercise, and also the Viagra and stuff isn't necessarily good for your heart. Mm-hmm. I take zinc and D3 and ginseng complex. Those are all good, like men's sexual health things.
Are you doing cardio? Because you probably don't need cardio. I don't do cardio outside of work, really. Yeah.
And you're right. I really don't think I need cardio or to do leg day that much. No. Honestly, like my thighs are fucking thick, dog, from all the downward doggy and shit.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
So like, I'm trying to catch up my upper body. Just the last like few months or so, I've been working out a lot. I got some good gym equipment in my new house here. I got one of those pulley machines that you do like the chest thing. Mm-hmm. I got a dumbbell set and a bench press and stuff. So I've been working on my upper body, trying to fill out my upper body because I've always kind of been self-conscious. I feel like I'm like an opposite of skip legs day guy. So I'm trying to catch up. I think my cardio is pretty good. The doctor says I'm healthy, so that's good. I gotta smoke less nicotine. I don't vape that much anymore, but I do have a vape that I hit once in a while. I smoke a lot of blunts. I should probably switch to hemp wraps. But besides that, I have a pretty healthy lifestyle, I think, besides smoking.
Yeah. Well, then the reason I ask is, number one, everyone's curious. And number two, people don't realize that porn stars are usually more healthy physically than most normal people. Because again, it is an athletic mindset. You just talked about being on set for 8 hours with a hard dick. That's not an easy feat. And also you have to look good doing it because someone's going to watch that. And so it's sort of like athleticism, but you have to look good and perform. And so, I just feel like, we everyone's curious what a day in the life of what your routine is. I think the vitamin shit is on par. So many people fucking sleep on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I was sleeping on it for a while, honestly, man. So I've always had like decent size loads, but they were always like kind of clear. Mm-hmm. Like if I was working with a pale girl, especially, you'd barely even see it on her. It would just be like glistening.
Right.
So I asked some of the OGs that I know, like Johnny Darko. I don't know if you know him, but he produces Evil Angel. I love him. I've learned a lot from him. He dude has the thickest loads, man. Like honestly, like I've seen him nut on a lot of girls' faces. It looks like glue. I'm like, dude, what do you take? And he gave me all these lists of supplements and stuff. So a lot of them, some of them were my own research, but a lot of them were ones he told me to take. And definitely have been having a lot bigger loads and a lot more visible loads lately. It's been pretty nuts, honestly.
Yeah, and who the fuck doesn't want that, right? So, so there's that. So who are some of, and again, off the top of your head, some of the biggest stars you worked with in the industry? Like, who are some of the biggest female stars that you worked with? Because I think, that's important to put on record too in this episode. Yeah, top 3, top 5. But you're not saying they're better than anyone else. We're just giving sort of a rundown.
Well, in my head, because they're people I used to watch. Let's start with that. And then I'll start with people that are like blowing up right now. Mm-hmm. So in my head, the biggest ones I've worked with are, Cherokee to S, Victoria June, I don't know.
There's been so many.
I've worked with like 1,000 women. I'm kind of, those are 2 of the ones I used to watch a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be in an orgy in a couple weeks with a bunch of popular girls that's being hosted by one of the most popular girls in the industry right now, Miss Violet Myers.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be really cool. That we'll have Jules, Blue, Dan Dangler.
Dan's been on the show.
Dan's great. Yeah. I just worked with her a few days ago.
Yeah,
we have a new thing coming out. Jules, Blue, Dan Dangler, some Thick Vic, Haley Rose. And Violet. So that'll be a pretty big one. I just shot that thing with Kira the other day. Mm-hmm. She won Female Performer of the Year for AVN last year. So she's pretty big. I've been very lucky. Victoria Cakes. She's one of the most popular porn stars on the hub, at least. I've shot with her a few times. Pick your poison, man.
No, that's a lot. That's a lot right there. Is there anybody? I mean, obviously we talked about the Adriana Chechik thing, and that's going to be a fucking dream for the fans, and for you too. But
of course.
Like let's say, I mean, whether they're retired or whatever, like all bets are off. Who are like 2 or 3 that you'd love to work with? Like if you could have your pick of anyone, who would you work with?
If they're retired, also, you said?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to be retired, but like, you could pick from anybody in the game who was in the game, is in the game, is not in the game.
That I haven't worked with yet.
Correct. Yeah.
That I have.
Yeah. Dream picks.
Kira would have been on the list until like 4 days ago.
Okay. So number 1, okay, you got her. Way to go.
Adriana is on the list. That'll be crossed off soon.
See, you're knocking these out pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Who haven't I? It's Adriana. Skin Diamond was like my favorite growing up. Loved her. And she just came out of retirement, I heard. And she was at the Pornhub Awards. And I saw her. She passed me on the stairs as I was walking down them. I almost fainted and fell down the stairs. It was crazy.
Really?
It was like the most starstruck I've ever been. And I've been around like celebrities and stuff, and like outside of this industry. And like seeing her was like the most, I was like, whoa, dude. Because I used to watch her so much. So Skin Diamond's up there.
Did you say anything to her, or you just let her pass?
It happened so fast, and then she just disappeared into the night. I didn't see her again. Like a
hallucination or something.
It was great. Yeah.
Were you on mushrooms? Was that?
No. I would love to work with Kazumi. I'm friends with her. I go to a lot of her events. I haven't shot with her yet.
She's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. I love her as a person. I just haven't.
She's so fucking smart, dude. She's so good at branding.
She's great. Yeah. I was just at her. She was just on a Tubi show, in this reality show. She had a little launch party for when it was being released at a pizza place in LA the other day. That was fun. She's always doing things for the community.
Yeah,
we all love Kazumi.
Yeah.
Alexis Tay, I think, just stopped from shooting BGs. She was one of my favorites. So that stinks, but good for her.
Right.
I hope she's successful in her next adventures in life, of course. Love Anna Fox. I would love to shoot with Anna Fox.
Anna Fox has been on the show.
Love her.
Yeah.
Holly Hendricks, used to be a big fan of her. She's around. She's been coming back. I've seen her. I saw her at the All-Star Awards.
Nice.
I was in a blow bang with her. And me and her are cool. We She's a cool chick. Just hasn't happened yet. I've only shot with her in a blow bang. I would like to do an actual, a BG scene with her or whatever. Tommy King.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, these
Tommy
are fucking
King's
legendary names, and you're putting this out into the universe on Sex Party. So you never know what's gonna happen. Now you never know what I'm gonna clip, who I'm gonna tag. So yeah. So I just wanted to get all of that, on record. We're getting close to the end of the episode, and I've got a couple other things I want to make sure we touch on. I know you've told it a million times. I know you're sick of it. You said, "Oh, I'll answer it and whatever." But I know you're a cool dude. But let's just give the previously on version of your origin story. I mean, you could take as long as you want, but I just don't want you to have to answer questions because we're not the show that makes people repeat everything. But how did you get into the industry? Because I have seen you give this answer on a couple of shows, and it's like, oh, wait, which website? And so I just think it's fascinating. So what's your origin story? How did you get involved in porn?
Yeah, so I always enjoyed porn, like a lot of dudes and women, and I don't know. I didn't get that many girls before. I got some, but I was kind of like a shy, introverted guy. So I only really got the ones that came to me. And some of my friends that I had sex with and stuff were like, "Oh my God, you have a nice dick. You should do porn." So I was like, "Really?" So I made some ads on this website called Sexy Jobs. And then I got some calls from some random productions in New York and shot for them. Never seen those scenes. I don't know if they're just some dudes trying to get some stuff for themselves to watch or what, but I shot for some small companies up there. Then I shot for some that some people know, like Freak Mob and stuff. They've gotten a little more popular throughout the years for sure. And then one of the companies I shot with and was shooting with in New York went to Miami. And they're like, "Do you want to come with us to shoot some scenes?" So I took some paid time off of work from the bank. I was a banker at Wells Fargo.
Oh, wow.
And
shout out to Wells Fargo.
So I went and did that. And when I was down there, I hit up this website called See Him Fuck, which is like a site where the girl kind of just body worships the guy a lot. She licks feet, eats ass, all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. So did that. I'd applied on all the agencies' websites like Hussy and 101 and OC and all those agencies, and none of them answered me. But when I shot for See Him Fuck, the dude there who I thought was the PA watching the whole time ended up being Riley, my agent now for the last 4 years from Hussy Models. He owns the website See Him Fuck and a couple other sites. So when I shot for them after the scene, he was like, "Hey, do you still want to sign to Hussy Models?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, you're Hussy Models." and that's how it happened. I moved to Miami a few months later, started off small, had a low rate, bouncing place to place, just trying to live down there, just trying to keep afloat. And then eventually, things got steady, started getting paid more, started getting booked more. After some years, started making good money off my own product as well. And I moved to Vegas. I've been here for a few years, and yeah.
Fuck yeah. See that, kids? Listen, take what you want to do and just go for it. I mean, that's what Nade did, and he's look where he's at now. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking no, that's amazing. And I appreciate you, going through that whole story again. I just, I want the audience to know how it got started, and now they know. A couple things that I want to make sure that I ask too before we jump. You just won the fan favorite male performer of the year. What does that feel like? I mean, that's
amazing.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, let me grab it real quick.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Again, if you're watching this or listening to this on audio, don't leave. Just stay here. It's almost over. Then you can go to YouTube. Everybody stay where you're at right now. Don't go.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking
my first
awesome.
award.
Oh wow.
Before the first time at Sex Party Male Award.
Yeah. And we'll send you something, but it's not going to look as nice as that. I'll tell you that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's sick to win this, man. Really, like I said, I'm doing this for a while. For a long time, I felt like I was just kind of one of the dudes that I thought I was going to stay this way, where I'm kind of just here. You know, I do my job, I get paid, people book me, but no one really like cares about me or like recognizes me. Yeah. You know, I'm just kind of there doing the dirty work. You know, but really, just the last couple of years, I mean, I think I improved my product a lot that I produce, and you know, just over time, you know, directors start to recognize you as a solid male performer. I feel like I'm not like one of the new guys anymore. I'm kind of like not a veteran, but I feel like I'm seasoned. Yeah, you know, people know what they're going to get from Nade Nasty.
Right.
Yeah, man, it feels great to finally be like recognized for my work and just recognized in my community as a successful part of it. You know, I never really expected to win it. I've been nominated for a bunch of stuff for Fleshbot. I won a Fleshbot. I didn't win a Fleshbot. I was in a scene, inside Jennifer White by Johnny Darko, her showcase, her gangbang scene that I was in won an award. So that was the first thing my name was ever on an award for, but this is my first personal award. And yeah, man, I've been nominated for Urban X's, AVN, X-Biz's. And sometimes I thought like, hey, maybe I have a chance to win this one. Sometimes I think, oh, I'm definitely not going to win this one. I thought there was a few people that could have won this. So I was semi-surprised, but also, you know, I know I put in the work and make a great product. So I also do feel I earned it and deserve it. And it's really it's a great feeling, man. Just like, you know, any industry or anything you do that you're passionate about, you want people to recognize you for it. So it's really cool. I hope I win some more, but honestly, I was always just thrilled just to be nominated, because like that to me was feeling like I was finally recognized, you know, and that only started happening in the last 2 years or so, two and a half years. So it's cool to win one though, for sure.
No, yeah, congratulations. I think it's fucking awesome, and I think you have a lot more to win ahead of you. It's easy to see, you know, just in this interview, like the care and like the actual, you know, time that you take to put into the stuff that you do. So it's not just like something that's slapped together, right? And I think that says a lot about you as a person and as a performer and as a product and all of that. So I think, yeah, dude, I'm sure it's going to rain down awards. I want to ask briefly, because everybody, when I polled my audience a little bit about interviewing a male porn star, dating life, are you dating outside the industry, inside the industry? Are you not dating? I mean, have you tried dating? Is it a disaster?
Since I've been in the industry, I've only dated in the industry. I do have an amazing girlfriend right now.
Okay.
It is going swell. I love her very much, and she's great. It's her first time in an industry relationship. So it's not always the easiest for her. And it's still even not for me, being in my third industry relationship. You know, jealousy is a thing. Mm-hmm. You need to, you know, remember that it's you and your partner against the issue, not you guys against each other. And you need to not let your jealousy or any feelings you have about your partner's work, because you got to remember it's work. You got to not let it affect the way you treat your partner, even if it's bothering you. Yeah, I mean, I've been in some that were complete disasters, like girls in the industry who worked more than me, but still would freak out whenever I worked and like break my shit and like, you know, make sure I didn't make my flights and stuff. I've been in relationships in the industry that were nice for the most part, but we just disagreed on some specific boundaries or just like our goals for the relationship, you know? Yeah. And I guess in my first couple ones, I was more, I was more jealous, but I don't want to act like I don't get jealous now still. You know, it's not always the easiest, but I only really talk to girls in the industry. I haven't really talked to girls outside the industry in years, except if I just like they're one of my friends that I meet or something. I don't like pursue that. Not that it wasn't something that I would have considered. I just think it's harder to find someone that accepts your job. But then also within the industry, it hasn't always been necessarily easy to find someone that accepts it either, because just because you do it doesn't mean you want to date someone that does it,
right.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's not easy. I'll just leave it at that, but it is possible. My current relationship is going good and I am happy with it and I hope it continues to. And, yeah.
No, that's great. It's fucking great. No, congratulations on that too.
Just like any relationship, just like any relationship, it has things, in any, whether you're in this career path or not, it has its obstacles. So
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. And, second to last question, right? You're a guy, you have the adult industry, but you're also doing OnlyFans, obviously. And that's where a big part of your income, I'm assuming, comes from or whatever. I think a lot of dudes want to do OnlyFans, but they don't know. I mean, and obviously they're not going to be, well, most people aren't going to be in adult, but like just like a normal civilian dude wants to start an OnlyFans, right? I mean, anything you could throw at them advice wise, like how they would get started. I mean, because you would know you're doing it. Obviously, the caveat is that you've been in the adult industry, so you have those connections, but.
As a dude making an OnlyFans, to start off, and there's nothing wrong with this, and if you think there's something wrong with it, then you're not going to be successful.
Sure.
Most of your fans are going to be gay men, because not a lot of women buy porn, and not a lot of straight men are going to buy some dudes porn. They're going to buy some girls porn. So. I would say just make high quality solo stuff, pictures, videos, good lighting, good camera, post clips on social media, start promoting yourself, maybe join some retweet groups. If you know any girls that also have an OnlyFans or want to make one, make some scenes with them. Once you start getting some followers and have some actual posts showing who you are, so you're not just some random creep messaging girls, you could hit up girls. Like, don't expect a girl with 100,000 followers to answer you when you have like 1,000.
Yeah.
They didn't answer me either when I was like that. But, if you have 1,000 followers, maybe you could message some newer girls with like 5 to 10, see if they want to collab and just work your way up like that. And so really just make good quality solo stuff. Start posting on Twitter, mainly. That's the best place to promote porn. And and join retweet groups, and follow other creators and companies and stuff, become part of the community, maybe comment on some stuff if it's like something that's asking, for comments. Just try to integrate yourself into the online sex worker community, mainly through Twitter, I'd say, and then just work your way up. I started mainly just posting my dick and videos of me jerking off, and then videos with my first girlfriend back in the day, like years and years ago when I was 19, and then started reaching out to these companies and stuff, and that's how I got into it. You just have to, take it seriously, not just be like a horny fuck, and just be professional and put out a professional product, and people will notice eventually.
No, that's great.
And by professional product, I don't even mean like you need like a Sony camera or a Panasonic. You can use an iPhone, just get like a ring light, and like don't make it look like shit behind you. Just make it look nice.
Right.
I know a lot of very successful porn stars that still shoot all their content with an iPhone. I shoot with an iPhone sometimes just to get a more amateur look, even if, so. No,
totally. Yeah. No, all of that is fucking priceless advice. Okay. Nade Nasty, final question. All right, of this interview at least, because I'd love to have you back, especially after some of these these other scenes come out. Right, we'll have you back for sure.
Yeah.
But so, what has your time in porn? What has it taught you about women sexually, emotionally? Like, what have you learned about women? And obviously, porn is a performance, yes, but the best performances are. There's truth in there. So I just want to ask you, like, what you've learned about women sexually and emotionally during your almost 8 years in porn.
What have I learned about women sexually and emotionally? Like how we were touching on before, probably the most comfortable thing for a woman to be turned on and to come is them being comfortable. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
The women come in all different ways. There's no one way to do it. There's some ways that are more successful with most girls, but then you'll get to one girl and be doing that same thing and they'll be like, oh no, don't do it like that. And
right.
You're like, everyone loves this, but you can't be like that. You need to
everyone loves this. What's wrong with you? Yeah.
Everyone's different. You need to be able to, communicate with the person you're having sex with, and verbally and non-verbally, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Women are a lot freakier than I knew they were. And I know civilian women are just like this too, because there's there's only a small percentage of the freaks get to do porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just I never realized this when I was a civilian, but girls are way freakier than I thought they were. Like if you I'm not even necessarily the most confident guy. Like I wouldn't be able to walk up to a girl I'm attracted to in public and be like, hey, I just ask girls, hey, would you want to shoot a scene sometime? I would love to shoot with you sometime if you'd be interested. That's the only thing I know how to say.
Yeah.
But if you have the confidence, mine is mainly because of my platform. It's almost like a persona. But if you have the confidence to ask girls if they want to try like different things, like even if it's not like the most normal thing, a lot of them will love that stuff. Girls are really kinky. They love trying new things for the most part.
Right.
Emotionally, I'm still working on that, buddy. Still working on it.
Well, what a fucking perfect place to end it. I mean, Nade Nasty, thank you so much for being on Sex Party. Let's tell these party going sons of bitches where they can find you on socials, what your OnlyFans is. Throw in whatever you like, but I want to make sure they find you after the show. Yeah,
of course. My socials are Twitter or x.com/Nade Nasty XXX. My Instagram is Nade_Nasty. My cat's Instagram is _boys. My OnlyFans is Nade Nasty. My ManyVids is under Nade Nasty. Pornhub, just look up Nade Nasty. Just Google me.
Yeah, there you go.
For all my links, with all my scenes, just go to gettinnasty.com. That's GETTINNASTY.com. It has all my links on there. Check out Hookup Hotshot, and Deep Blush and all those sites that book me a lot. Tell them you love when they book me. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh, my Twitch. I just started a Twitch.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So definitely check out my Twitch. It's just the Nade Nasty.
Nice.
Yeah, the Nade Nasty.
Awesome.
Check that out.
No,
I'll be streaming there.
They'll be running over there after this is over with. So yeah, they'll be running everywhere.
And I made a YouTube. I have a couple vlogs on from like last year, but I stopped because I just needed better equipment. I'm going to get a vlogging camera very soon, and check that out as well. Stuff will be dropping there sooner than later. Getting Nasty with Nade.
Amazing.
And then my TikTok's Nade Nasty, which I'm going to start using soon.
I have the same fucking problem. TikTok, me and TikTok don't get along, but it's like, we got to do it, right? So yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'll have you back. We'll send you some sort of cardboard thing that'll get mangled in the, I don't know. We'll figure out how we'll get you the first male on Sex Party Award.
Sweet.
We work
I'll
with
put it right next to this trophy.
Dude, I am totally going to send you something. Watch. But thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dustin. Big
thank you to my guest, Nade Nasty, for being on the show. He will be back. If you guys are loving guests like Nade, if you're happy that we finally got a male guest by himself on Sex Party. You're loving Sex Party. You want to show some love to the show. You want more of the show. How do you show that, that appreciation, that devotion, that endless love for the show? Well, if you're listening to this on platforms like Apple and Spotify, you could subscribe to the show. That is the most important thing you could do. Listen, you could leave reviews. You could tell your neighbors all of the things, right? But that's less important than you subscribing to the show, especially if you are subscribed on Apple Podcasts or you think you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, because now it's time to check. Apple's been removing subscribers, pausing downloads for some reason. So go to Apple Podcasts, go to Sex Party with Dustin Rybka. Go at the upper right-hand corner. You'll see some sort of, it'll be a pause button or a check mark. Hit that button. The drop-down menu will come down. Resume downloads. Then you're good to go. You'll get all of the episodes like you were getting before. You probably had no idea that it was happening. But listen, I fixed it for you. There you go. If you're watching on YouTube, I love you. I see you. If you're watching on YouTube, do you prefer chicken nuggets, chicken wings, or chicken fingers? Let me know in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, what can you do? Listen, hey, subscribe to the channel. You want to subscribe to the channel because you want to make sure you get the new episode every single Wednesday. You can also like all the videos. You can comment on all the videos. I love talking to you guys. I'm always available in the DMs, and I will see you all right back here next week.
Thanks for listening. The party continues next week. Click subscribe and let's make this a regular thing. Follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at SexPartyFM. Follow Dustin at Dustin Rybka.